Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips. And this video is brought to you by Wellness Forum Health and the Wellness Forum Institute for Health Studies. So, some free stuff and paid stuff coming up. All right. So, the first thing is lots of free stuff with the cancer campaign, our Prevent Cancer campaign we run every year. It goes through October 15th, so you have plenty of time to participate. Sign our pledge card that pledge to learn about cancer prevention. Notice no pink buckets of chicken and no pink M&Ms, right? We're going to actually talk about substantive things that you can do to reduce your risk of cancer. And we will give you a $100 gift card. You've got 50 choices of what you can spend that gift card on. But one of them is our upcoming fall conference, which is virtual this year. And one of our guest speakers is Vinay Prasad. And if you want to look him up on YouTube, he also has a great Substack that you can subscribe to for free. It's Vinay Prasad, Prasad. We spend a fortune to make these people available to you, and you guys can have a ticket for not much money, and you can take $100 off of it if you sign the pledge card. You can use it for other things too. Then you get to choose a date for a Prevent Cancer lecture. And we're going to cover all kinds of things like diet and stress and your microbiome and all kinds of things that contribute to cancer. So you can learn how to prevent cancer. You can get a 50% discount on our Cancer 101 course, which consists of 13 lectures, and there are assignments that you can complete, and we will grade them for you if you're interested in doing that. All right. So all kinds of free stuff. We run this campaign every year, and it brings a lot of awareness and gets a lot of people paying attention to the right things, which is how do we prevent cancer? The next free tour is October 9th. So for people who aren't members of Wellness Forum and you're curious and you maybe want to see what our video platforms and article libraries look like and all that sort of thing, I take you on a tour and then I engage in a free health Q&A with you. It's October 9th, and I offer these every few weeks or so people can get to know us better. And I think it's then easier to make a decision whether or not what we offer is for you. I'm going to teach another virtual yoga class. I'm like halfway through the series now. It's 4, the way I did it was 4 group classes through Zoom and then a one-on-one session with each student. I've been teaching the one-on-one sessions at home. So Winston has been doing some cat yoga with me on the floor while the students do their yoga, which is kind of fun. So if you're interested in that virtual yoga class, you can send me an email. And then coming up is Optimal Health 1 and 2. I only do this once a year. You either do it in the fall or you wait till next year. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday morning, and Saturday afternoon. We video it in case you can't watch live, but Optimal Health 1, I cover everything from time management, which is a stress issue, even besides making time for the stuff that you ought to be doing. And then I share with people my own meal plans and recipes, and we talk about things like supplements and intermittent fasting and sleep and exercise and what should you really be doing. Yoga is one thing, that would be a clue, right? And lots of time for questions. I limit the size of this. I only take 25 each year. And this year, if you have a teenager who is interested in a homeschool credit for a science class or something like that, or health class, I'm letting teenagers watch with their parents, and I'll give some assignments so that they can use it for homeschool credit. All right. So lots of stuff going on. Some of the stuff you do have to pay for, but we try to make a lot of stuff free to people. And don't forget about our wonderful food products, which I probably half of my diet some weeks is our food products. I really like them. That's why we make them. We make stuff that I like. All right, so I want to talk about diet and cancer. This is the first of a 2-part series on series on weight status and diet and cancer, all related to one another. One of the leading causes of many types of cancer is being overweight, by the way. And with our population in its sedentary, overweight, or obese state, this is one of the things we have to focus on. A review of over 1,000 studies showed that being overweight or obese increases the risk for at least 13 types of cancer. The chairman of the research group that performed this review said these 13 cancers represent 42% of all cancer diagnoses. and that weight status is even more important than smoking. Like being overweight presents a higher risk of getting cancer than smoking cigarettes. And the research group said we should put obesity at the top of the list of risk factors to address for cancer prevention. So I agree. I know it's easier said than done, and most people are not walking around obese or overweight because they like being that way. But the weight loss industry has pretty much failed to correct the problem. So anyway, many things contribute to weight gain and obesity, diet being a very important one. It's just easier to gain weight while eating foods that are high in calories and fat, like beef, cheese, and pastries. And it's easier to lose weight by eating plant-based foods that include more calorie dilute foods like fruits and vegetables and rice and beans and those types of foods. And I never teach people calorie counting. You don't have to do that. And in my optimal health weekends, there's no calorie counting and weighing and measuring. It's really understanding calorie density and fat density of food that helps people to lose weight without any of that nonsense. Inflammation increases the risk of cancer and can accelerate its progression. And I'll come back to how the relationship between obesity and inflammation, but I want to give some examples of how inflammation can cause cancer. So cancers will often develop at sites where infection, chronic irritation, or inflammation occurs. So colon cancer is a very good example. Over 35% of Americans will develop polyps due to changes in the mucosal layer that protects the lining of the colon. And the primary cause of that is overconsumption of animal foods, because animal foods contain sulfur-containing amino acid, which increases the production of hydrogen sulfide. And it's a very irritating substance that reduces mucus production, leaving the lining of the colon vulnerable to irritation. And the more irritation, the more polyps, and the longer the irritation, the bigger the polyps get, and the higher the risk that one of them will turn into cancer. In addition to being high in protein, animal foods are high in fat, and higher fat intake, in addition to contributing to weight gain, increases the production of bile acids, which also irritates the colon. So the diet that is lower in fat and higher in fiber is protective because you have less bile acid production and you eliminate the bile acids you are producing much more quickly. A lot of studies have shown the relationship between diet and the risk of colon cancer. In 1971, Dr. Dennis Burkitt reported that poor African Blacks eating a plant-based diet had a lower risk of death from colon cancer than wealthy whites that were eating a westernized diet. Numerous studies have shown that eating animal foods increases the risk of colon cancer in a dose-dependent manner. The more of the stuff you consume, the higher the risk. On the other hand, research shows that eating a higher fiber diet affects the risk the other way. It lowers it considerably. Vegetarians and plant-based eaters are 40% less likely to develop colon cancer as compared to meat eaters. Now, there's a caveat there. I know a lot of people who eat a vegetarian diet full of junk food and empty calories, but I'm talking about people like me who are living on fruits and vegetables and potatoes and rice and beans and healthy foods, right? That's where the risk reduction happens. Another way in which high intake of animal foods contributes to increased inflammation and an increased risk of cancer is animal foods contain concentrated amounts of arachidonic acid, which can increase inflammation levels through all kinds of pathways. So you can if you reduce your intake of animal foods, replace and you don't have to give all of it up. I've never taught a vegan diet. I'm a pretty well-known vegan. I like it, but you don't have to do that. You just got to shift the ratio to more plant food, less animal food. And I'm going to come back to obesity because a lot of this has to do with inflammation. Fat cells produce inflammatory cytokines and other similar molecules. So the calorie dilute, lower fat diet will help in losing weight. It will reduce the irritation to and inflammation associated with cancer. And it will end up getting rid of some of those fat cells, and you'll produce less inflammatory cytokines. And overall, you'll lose weight, you'll have lower inflammation levels, and a lower risk of cancer. And another thing too, plant-based diets are high in fiber, which has been shown to reduce inflammation through interaction with the gut bacteria. So one of the things, if you take my cancer prevention class by signing the pledge, you'll learn is that there are a lot of things that cause cancer. Some are more important than others to pay attention to, but it's multifactorial. It's your weight, it's your diet. It's how much exercise you get. Exercise is actually protective. And I've read some articles showing that exercise increases the efficacy of many conventional cancer treatments if you have cancer. So there are so many things that you can do to prevent your risk of cancer. And in fact, a colleague of mine said in a lecture many years ago, I think that there's probably not a disease that is as preventable as cancer. And so pay attention to that. I mean, nobody wants cancer, and most people who have it wish they didn't. And we have some great tools, by the way. We offer a cancer concierge program to help cancer patients figure out what to do, treatment options, looking at risks and benefits and alternative treatments and all that sort of thing. But most of them wish that they didn't have cancer, even with all the resources we provide. So this time of year, I mean, I want people to eat well all the time for more reasons than just being afraid of cancer. But this time of year, the 6 weeks that we spend promoting Prevent Cancer brings focus to one of the reasons why it's important to pay attention to your health before disaster hits. Not everybody gets motivated when they get diagnosed with something, but the best time to do something is before it happens, right? And we do that with everything else. We maintain our houses and our cars to prevent, bad things from happening and breaking down and all that sort of thing. How about we treat our bodies the same way? All right. If any of the things that I've said interest you, whether it's our food products, our Prevent Cancer campaign, or the free tour, or Optimal Health with Pam, or participating in my next group yoga class, virtual yoga class, send me an email at pampopper@msn.com. And as usual, pass this on to anybody who you think would enjoy watching it. And I will be back to you tomorrow with more news. Thank you for watching.